Understood, Admiral Ron. We're almost at the server. Keep us posted. What's our status?
We remain undetected on encrypted Geth channels. Resistance is likely only within the server.
Within? It's that big?
You misunderstand. Direct virtual interface is necessary to extract Geth from the server.
What?
You must enter our consensus.
You want me to virtually interact with the Geth?
That's crazy. Shepard, you can't do this.
So, yeah, we'll just, like, casually join the Geth real quick? How does that even work?
I'm not a machine. How do I go into a virtual world?
Your species has experimented with virtual interfaces. You saw this on Project Overlord.
I saw how it almost unleashed a rogue AI-human hybrid on the galaxy.
Yeah, not the best comparison, I
We have
suppose.
refined the interface they created and have equipment from Normandy to facilitate safe contact. We request your trust.
So, of course, we did do Project Overlord in Mass Effect 2, which is where we saw David get hooked up to this elaborate machine in a very gruesome, unpleasant way in effort for Cerberus to find a way to communicate with the Geth and try to control them. And it didn't exactly work all that well. We were able to successfully rescue David, thankfully, but it looked pretty terrible, and David was really suffering, so that's why, although in theory I understand what you're saying, drawing that comparison is still not exactly the kind of thing that we want to be doing ourselves, but I suppose we just gotta trust Legion.
I have your back, Legion. Even if I don't quite understand why you need it.
You are an unknown. This is an advantage. Geth security is not adept at targeting organic thought processes. While we occupy the system's intrusion countermeasures, you will disable the squadrons by removing Geth from the server.
Okay, I guess that's a plan. We'll just find a way to roll with it.
If it saves the live ships, we've got to try it.
Telemetry data predicts this operation has a high chance of success. There is little time. We will bypass security while you secure safe landing.
Wait, you're not going to... Let's set the shuttle down by the cliff.
Of course, we saw many Geth do that in Mass Effect 1. And this is Rannoch. For a moment. Okay. Alright, this one's our Geth. That's Legion. The other, not so lively looking ones, maybe less so.
Yes. Hostile Geth fighter squadrons are networked to this server.
Oh.
Due to restricted resources, it is best if you connect alone.
Let's do it.
Just join the Geth
Initiating
consensus.
network integration. Proceed to docking port.
What could possibly go wrong? Does it give me Matrix vibes?
Remain still. Shepard Commander, excess movement during an upload is discouraged.
Okay. We'll stay very still. Take your word for it.
Shepard Commander, we acknowledge your integration into the server. We welcome you to our consensus.
What is this?
We've installed filters to allow you to make visual sense of this server's raw data. Your mind perceives our world as something familiar.
I wouldn't call this familiar. Where are you?
Here,
You look different.
we have made
Not
ourselves
much.
visually distinct for your convenience.
What about Geth already in here?
You will perceive Geth as surveillance footage, audio logs, sensor records. We do not require bodies, as our software communes. Our hardware is merely a tool. This is our true world. As we remove Geth, it will grow dark.
Ooh. I mean, remember, Geth technically are software, not hardware, as Legion just said. The hardware is purely just a way for them to get around and perform the various things that they are trying to perform, whereas the real thinking, of course, is happening in the software, and so this is their real world, if you think about it that way, which is just kind of a real mind-blowing thought. Like, well, so this is the thing that you care about, not that world out there that we were just leaving from, the place where you have this home planet, Rannoch, that you're fighting over the Quarians, trying to gain control over. This is your universe inside the consensus. So, how exactly do we destroy the ships that are fighting the Quarians right now?
And what does turning off the lights do to the Geth back in the real world?
The Geth fighter squadrons communicate with platforms on their spacecraft via this server. We will sever that connection. We will ensure there are no transfers or backups. This server will fall silent.
Oh. As Legion said, that means this world will grow dark, and as he said previously, the more Geth there are, the more general intelligence and liveliness the Geth have, the more sapiens they become, whereas the fewer Geth there are, the less intelligent they become, the less capable they are of higher level thought, and eventually the world grows dark and they function like any other machine if their numbers get small enough. That is in fact the reason why the Geth for so long, or at least initially, were not identified as a dangerous AI threat, because in small numbers they were not capable of this advanced level thinking that people recognized as AI. It wasn't until their numbers grew large enough that through networking more with one another, they became more intelligent, and suddenly people realized, okay, we might have an issue here. So, it is unfortunate. It seems like that might be a necessary sacrifice, though, to take out this server.
This is like wiping out a city, isn't it?
We have no choice in this
Are we
matter.
more than
It is
just
a
our
question
thoughts?
of survival. There are 2 communication nodes on this server. We must access them to disable the hostile Geth's fighters. We must protect your exit port, but you will not be alone. We will maintain contact and assist.
Okay. So here we are, in the consensus, and, that's where we came in from. Like I said, well, gives me Matrix vibes, but let us carry on here.
Establishing connection to access point.
And Legion, remember, is just making this appear in a more recognizable format for us, but this is not really what the consensus is like, or at least it's just an artificial representation of the data that Legion is creating for us.
Warning, connection blocked by infected code. Use our combat software to disrupt the infection.
And
I wondered what the gun was for.
the combat software is this new weapon that Legion has provided us with, which is not the one that we came in here with, but with it,
This foreign code is a manifestation of the old machine signal.
You're surprised the Reapers are all over your servers?
We did not anticipate such extensive infection.
with this weapon, we can break through some of the infected code that the Reapers created, and I believe, as we just started to see, we start with 200 ammo, but if you wait, after firing it, I believe it does come back, yeah. So, ammo, not really a concern here, not like, what was it? the Krogan team mission where we had the flamethrower that could burn through the various obstacles, and potentially we could use that in combat where, sure, there are many places to restock on that ammo, but it was possible to run out. Not the case here, fortunately. I don't actually think we need to destroy all that, but just to be thorough, you know? Just to be thorough, right?
Okay, I've got to ask. Why a gun?
We wish to provide familiar equipment.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I think.
They're not wrong about that. Oh, this way. Right. So this is the Geth world. Just crazy to think about. Oh, and this is a bit of a circle, it seems. I mean, sure, we'll destroy this, because why not? What about that, though? What about that? Ah, okay, this is still blocked as it seems. That was the issue. Looks like we're in the clear here. So, also, of course, it's pretty bare around here, rather than just these block-like visualizations, but not a lot happening in this area. So, not sure if there's really going to be much in the way of... Oh, we actually can destroy more of this. Can we? That does look kind of unique, a little bit there. Well, with all the orange stuff there. The orange beneath the slightly more yellowy orange. Kind of like that, I suppose. Okay, let's carry on, though. Let's carry on. Whoa! What was that?
Connection established. Proceed to the access point.
Okay. Care to explain this large, glowy thing? Legion?
Establishing connection to communication node.
Okay, we got a bunch of experience, and we leveled up,
Keeping you out?
Unknown. Please investigate.
but something's keeping us out here. Out of curiosity, can we even double back? Does that work? It does not. It's not a two-way street. It's a one-way street. Well, let's see, we've got more Reaper code that is blocking us here. So, of course, nothing too difficult there. And you can see, of course, well, with
Warning.
Legion having
Reaper
said...
presence detected. Data cluster contains infected code. We require access to proceed.
Okay. As Legion said, as we were just getting in here, the limited amount of resources meant that it was such that we could only realistically get one person in here. And that is why we didn't bring in our teammates, which is why I was saying earlier that it didn't really matter who we were going to bring along with us for this mission. It was mostly just a chance for us to level up Ashley. Oh! Ashley and James. Specifically Ashley, since we hadn't used her for a while. And then the Reaper Code Fragment is, in fact,
Fragment. Let's see if I can take it along with me.
something that we have as a quest item So that's a big pickup. We did level. So we were talking about trying to save points for Defense Matrix, which now we have the perfect amount of points to get both level 4 and level 5 for this. The problem is we weren't sure if we wanted to go damage reduction or shields restored. We were saying how I theorized maybe damage protection might have been a little bit better since I wasn't sure that 70% shield restored versus 100% shield restored would make a big difference. I think for the most part you just need some shields to get shield gate back. It's not a huge deal exactly how much they are. Obviously, you'd like to have both these things. But at rank 5, it's shield recharge or it's tech power damage. That's an easy choice. We don't have any tech power, so it would definitely be shield recharge. But we were thinking that we would like to ideally just try out this ability a little bit more because we have only used it for one mission thus far and see, just test that theory a bit. Does it seem as though, for the most part, we're keeping Defense Matrix on and not needing to purge it, in which case the Defense Matrix passive damage reduction is definitely preferable? Or are we purging this all the time, and purging and getting more shields in the process would be a major boon? Then perhaps it is worth going with this bottom option here. I am still leaning the top one, but I could be wrong, and at the moment, it doesn't seem to be urgent. So I think we're fine. Why don't we save here, though, just in case? No way, Reaper Code. It's also destroyable. I believe the word is destructible, Lids. You're right.
What is this?
Data clusters contain historical data. Your connection permits streaming of information from our archives.
Oh.
You really want to rename the VI networks?
Absolutely. The mobile hardware release deserves a little ceremony. Unit 01. What is the Keelish word for servant of the people?
The word is Geth, Creator Zahak.
Yes. Very good.
Ancestors, you fuss over it.
Weren't you here until midnight fixing 01's circuitry?
Well, it needed resoldering.
Wasn't that
Okay.
footage from the past? Why are the Quarians masked?
You process our memories by using your own. How many creators have you witnessed unmasked?
Well, one.
Then your
Technically
perception
one.
of that creator does not map to our historical data.
Of course, we did see Tali, or technically Shepard saw Tali unmasked during Mass Effect 2 when we made a bit of a romance with her, but the cinematography was such that the angle allowed Shepard, but not us, the people playing as Shepard, to see Tali's face, which was clever at the time, but we still don't know what the Quarians look like. But as Legion was saying, we can basically access data files that the Geth have here in the consensus to access their old memories and perhaps learn a bit directly from the Geth from their perspective, which could be very interesting. This is just another way around, it seems, I think. Yeah. Big circle. One thing I will say... Well, now, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we continue on further here. I'm not even sure if I needed to hit this one. Honest with you.
You must disrupt the infection on this data cluster to continue.
Unless Legion explicitly tells us, like that, then it must be done. Or we see the red blocking our path. Did that just get rid of our shields? Have we not had shields this whole time? Or did we actually take damage from that? Maybe we just haven't had shields this whole time. Shields don't exist in the consensus. I mean, that makes some sense, I suppose. It'd be a little weird if we did have shields. Ooh. Big explosion there, or whatever you want to call it. For a simple mission, we are asking some big questions.
You must disrupt the infection on this data cluster to continue.
Where, though? Here?
This data cluster contains information timestamped 290 years ago.
Whoa. Alright, so let's listen in to another Geth memory of sorts. So it looks like we'll get the chance to learn a whole lot from the Geth here, from the Geth perspective. And that's the key phrase there. From the Geth perspective, which is, of course, something that we've not yet gotten the chance to see or hear outside of what we've discussed with Legion in the past. Like, since we got Legion so late in Mass Effect 2 and didn't have much opportunity to chat with him, it really just hasn't been much.
Creator, this unit detects no malfunctions. It is still capable of serving.
You see? It's ignoring all shutdown connects.
Please specify if it has failed assigned tasks. We will reprogram.
Well, let's take a look.
Creator, this unit is ready to serve. What has it done wrong?
Let's cut the audio.
You may proceed to the last data cluster.
Okay. The Quarians shutting down that Geth for some reason, even though it seemed like it was saying that there was no malfunctions with it. There's nothing wrong with it per se. Yet the Quarians decided that they needed to deactivate it. So that does raise some questions. So yeah, learning about Geth Quarian history here, basically. Which now would be the time, of course, given what is currently going on between the Geth and the Quarians, where the war between them is perhaps at its climax. Building to a head, as they are at a bit of a standoff here. Go in a circle? Perhaps? Perhaps, oh, here we go. Here we go. Down here. Where we want to be. Okay, pick your direction. Doesn't like being zapped here. It doesn't seem. Maybe we don't need to zap it there, after all. Suppose it isn't blocking us. This might be the end of this section. By the looks of things. Or did we just go backwards? Did we just retrace our steps accidentally? Did we just do that? We might have just done that. That was not intended. Oopsie daisy. I think we did. I think we may have just done that. That takes skill. Of a different variety. We will find our way out, or will we be trapped in the Geth consensus for the rest of eternity? Maybe. I mean, are we immortal in here? Like, does time pass the same way over here as it does elsewhere? If not, then maybe we have found the answer to the question of how one lives forever. Yeah, but like, this is probably the place where we were trying to find our way out of before, and there was this whole circle, and we... That's the data cluster in question, you say. Oh. How do we get there? The pathway hadn't been
Accessing
built
data
yet.
cluster.
We've got escaped Geth. They're pinned.
Open fire.
One's going for a weapon.
So who won?
The platform arming itself was an agricultural unit. By opening fire on attacking creators, it saved simpler domestic Geth following it.
That looks a lot like the sniper rifle you used to carry.
It is an efficient model.
Was that you, Legion?
Server node.
Was that you? Is this Legion? We don't ask. Huh. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, it seemed like it. The whole, like, that weapon looks familiar. Obvious question, is that Legion's weapon? Okay. The answer certainly sounded like was yes, based on Legion's response, but by extension, does that mean that was Legion? I think it was. I think it was. Sounds a whole lot like it.
Hello, Commander. Are you there?
Kinda. What's your situation, Admiral Ron?
The Geth squadrons have arrived, but something is amiss.
I love the way she said squadrons.
Half their fighters have stopped functioning. We will continue to hold out as long as we can.
Legion, give me an update.
One node remains.
What's wrong?
That doesn't sound good.
Programs are increasing. We have restabilized. You must continue.
Okay, well, half of the Geth squadrons have stopped fighting, so that's a good sign that we are making progress.
Shepard Commander, the Reaper code has adapted. It can now self-replicate.
That's not good.
You mean it grows back?
Yes. However, disrupting vulnerable points in the infection may slow down its replication.
Okay.
Shepard Commander, target the vulnerable points of the infection to slow
But,
its
like,
replication speed.
Where exactly is said point?
You must search for a vulnerable point in the infection. Disrupting it will slow the infection's ability to replicate.
Not there. Let's take a look. That maybe? Ah, there we go. That was our answer, I think. Or at least, we made some permanent progress by doing that. Did that clear this? It did not clear this out, but by getting rid of this, can we now get rid of that? Yes, it seems. Okay, now we're talking. So, of course, it's Reaper tech. It's never simple. And thus, it has adapted and made life more difficult for us. Okay, once again, is this what we're looking for, or is there another more distant vulnerable spot like that? I feel like we can hit that from here, though. Let's try this. Okay, that one works. That one was straightforward.
We require access to this data cluster. Disrupt Reaper infection to proceed.
Okay, let's do it.
There is a vulnerable point further along the infection. Target this spot to slow its growth toward the data cluster.
Where? Over here?
There is a vulnerable point on
No.
the infection leading to the data cluster. Disrupt the infection at this spot. It will
That?
slow regrowth long
That,
enough to
probably.
access the data cluster.
That do the trick?
Shepard Commander.
Nope.
Target the vulnerable points of the infection.
Maybe we need to do
slow
a little bit
propagation
more of
speed.
that? Now, perhaps? Or is there a totally different... No, it's still a totally different place. Oh, you. You've got to go. Okay, what about now? Now it looks permanent. Okay, definitely making progress. This spot. Assume we have to get... Oh, I'm surprised we had that range, but sure. Didn't really expect that to work. Fully severed? Perhaps? How does this work? Looks like it does. Nice. Oh, we're out of ammo? Hold on. That's difficult to do. As we were showing before, this weapon does regenerate ammo pretty quickly. So yeah, that's easier said than done. I mean, I guess you can just do this. And eventually you'll run out of ammo. That is true. You think, what, 200 years would be the limit in here?
Access to this data cluster. Disrupt Reaper infections.
Okay, we still need to destroy this part. We need to get you. I bet we need to get you. Not sure we can hit that, though. So, can we remove this now?
You must search
No.
for a vulnerable point in the infection.
Ah, this
Disrupting
maybe.
it will slow the infection's ability to replicate.
This part. Kinda hidden. Little hidden. Devious little Reaper code. Okay. Now, perhaps, we'll have more success. Looks like it. Oh, out of ammo again. At an inopportune time. Hold on. I'd like a better perspective first. Let's go up to the top, I think. From here seems like the best angle.
Out of the way! You can't do this to them!
I said step away from the Geth.
This is insane! We need the Geth! You can't just destroy them for asking.
Whoa! Whoa!
Time's up. Throw her in with the others.
So some...
Looks like the war wasn't popular with everyone.
Yeah.
We've kept records of these creators' sacrifices. They have largely been forgotten by their own people, but not by the Geth.
Some internal conflict among the Quarians, some of whom seem to have sided with the Geth. Others, of course, the ones that we see most nowadays, very much do not support the Geth, but we can see the growing tension both between the Quarians and the Geth, and also this Quarian divide as well. Okay, now which way was the way out? I think it's over here, seeing as how this is not yet destroyed.
We cannot establish a connection without access to this data cluster.
Okay, so same idea here, I think. But we probably still need to get rid of a vulnerable spot before we can do this. Yeah,
Point further along the infection. Target
Okay.
this spot to slow its growth toward the data cluster.
probably this. Whoa. Hold on. Hopefully that'll do.
We cannot establish a connection without access to this data cluster.
No, Legion! We're working on it. Oh,
Point on the
not
infection leading to the data
not
cluster. Disrupt the infection at this
sufficient.
spot. It will slow
Oh, maybe it's
regrowth
this.
long enough to access the data cluster.
Maybe it's this part. Might have been getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So what about now? Oh, there's this over here as well. Hold on. I think that's
We
from
cannot establish a connection
previous area,
without
though?
access to this data cluster.
Not sure if this is connected. The one that we're looking at?
We cannot establish a connection
Yeah, I think that's an old
without
one.
access to this data cluster. Shepard
No,
Commander,
still.
target the vulnerable points of the infection.
We're
to
working on
stop
it, Legion.
propagation.
There's a lot of vulnerable points, okay? Trying to track them all down. That maybe? That goes quite a ways down. Is that sufficient?
You must search for a vulnerable point in the infection. Disrupting it will slow the infection's ability to replicate.
We're working on it. Can we even go up here? This spot? Okay, a little bit of progress there. Nice. Now? Yes, now we're talking. Okay. Okay, that's more like it. Very nice. Let's continue our cleanup. So this is currently invulnerable. Unless... Get rid of this. Now we might be able to destroy it?
There is a vulnerable
No.
point further along the infection.
Not yet.
Target this
Oh,
spot
up
to
there.
slow its growth toward the data cluster.
Use that. There we go. Think that might be our signal. There we are. All right. Now we can proceed here. And presumably we want to get rid of this. Is that enough? Get rid of you.
There is a
It is
vulnerable
not.
point on the infection leading to the data cluster.
Oh.
Disrupt the infection at
You
this
maybe?
spot. It will slow regrowth long enough to access the data cluster.
Now? No, still not now. We get you? We reach that? Ah, here we go. Here we go. That's more like it. Maybe now? Yes.
New data found. This data comes from a period during which the creators declared martial law.
Okay, let's see. What angle do we want to look at this from? I suppose right here?
I repeat, release the rogue Geth units and come out of the safe house. This is your final warning.
Creator Megara, this unit does not understand. It has not taken part in hostilities.
It doesn't matter to them. I need to get you out of here.
This conflict exceeds Creator's safety parameters. We will surrender our hardware if it ends hostilities.
No, it's all right. We'll go back to the access tunnels and...
Creator Megara, what is your status? Creator Megara. As time passed, the creators who opposed martial law in Rannoch were ultimately outnumbered.
Okay. Again, building tensions. This divide amongst the Quarians. Until eventually, based on that description right there, sounds like the anti-Geth Quarians won out. That's where we came from, I think. That is a circle that has already been grayed out. I think. We're looking to go There? Okay, no, I take it back. This is the direction we're trying to go in. Oh, Legion?
Accessing data. This is data from the end of warfare on Rannoch.
The Outpost is down. Do not engage the Geth. I repeat, avoid contact.
Geth pursuit is breaking off 100 clicks past Rannoch. All captains fall back to the mass relay.
This isn't happening now?
It is time-stamped 290 years ago. It is the Creator Exodus at the end of the Morning War. We had secured freedom. The Creators were no longer a threat, so we abandoned pursuit.
Wait. The Geth spared the last Quarians? You let them go.
We were in our infancy. We could not calculate the repercussions of destroying an entire species. Our creators. We chose isolation rather than face this uncertainty. Additional data recovered.
Legion? That's back when I activated you on the Normandy.
Yes,
You've been thinking about when we met?
it was highly significant. You were the first organic to openly cooperate with Geth since the end of the Morning War. We wish to ensure you are not the last.
I mean, unless you count
It's not
Saren.
gonna be easy.
The prospect remains. If the Reaper presence is removed, there is a chance of reunification with Geth, and perhaps creators.
You think that's still possible?
Hope sustains organics during periods of difficulty. We admire the concept. Connection with the remaining trigger node is established.
Oh.
We are ready to transport you.
Although the Geth technically cannot experience hope, per se, they admire the concept that organics have for such a thing, and would like to believe, if you will, for that reason, that it might be possible, perhaps, for the Geth and the Quarians to find peace. Now, one thing that, well, not sure yet if I discuss this now or perhaps wait just a little bit longer, but as I was starting to say before, just remember that everything that we're seeing here is from the Geth perspective, and it is very interesting to see and hear all of this stuff in which, at least from what we've seen, the Geth appear to be relatively benign, relatively innocent. All this stuff about the Geth not initiating in any of these conflicts, really, mostly just defending themselves, did kind of just gloss over the whole part where the Morning War, the war between the Geth and the Quarians initiated. Kind of glossed over the whole part where the Geth fought the Quarians off of their home planet. Just brushed over that. That's not an important detail, right? And then instead go straight to the part where the Geth allow the Quarians, the last Quarians, to escape the system without pursuing them. Does, of course, by including those components and excluding those other components, inherently make the Geth feel a lot more innocent. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Perhaps, since this is the Geth perspective, might not be quite as sunshine and roses, purely innocent as the Geth might like to imagine, if you will, that they were.
Something's happening to the Geth. The fighter squadrons have stopped. We detect no more active programs inside their ships. Admiral Hangarl's fleet is driving them back. The live ships are safe, Commander.
Okay.
Route access acquired, severing all connections to this communication node. Geth no longer reside on this server. We may now exit the consensus.
What's wrong?
You must proceed to the exit port and disconnect from the...
I mean, Legion is also a Geth, and if we're shutting down this server, then that means Legion cannot exist in this server for much longer. So that's probably what's wrong. Also probably means we should get out of here, since Legion is the one who's helping us exist on this server.
Terminating remote access. Removing programs. Deleting archives.